In this week's broadcast, we're going to talk to the CEO of the brand new terminal in Hungary and to CargoBeamer about its own terminal in Calais. This is RailFreight Live. Hello everyone, it's Friday, 22nd of January, and today we're going to talk about terminal networks in Europe. But before we do that, we will turn to the most important news of this week. Semi-trailers are once again banned from the Great Belt Bridge in Denmark. The reason is a moving trailer on a freight train, and although nothing happened, it reminded of the fatal accident on the same bridge 2 years ago, and it led the Danish authorities to issue the ban until at least 27 January. Our reporter Nikos Papatolios dove into the matter to see what is really going on.
The Danish authorities have imposed another ban on pocket wagons with semi-trailers from the Great Belt Bridge connecting Denmark with Sweden. The ban resulted from a potentially threatening situation that happened last week on the 13th of January, involving a freight train of DB Scandinavia. The measure is understandable, especially if we take into consideration the fatal accident that happened on the same bridge a couple of years ago. However, in the long term, it could prove detrimental for the intermodal transport market. After contacting DB Cargo Scandinavia, the company said that claims reporting a near accident are far from reality and might prove disorienting for the public. It also claims that the freight train in dispute underwent all the protocol controls before the trip. It had all the needed approvals, and nothing indicates that there was some kind of omission that led to the incident. In addition, DB Cargo Scandinavia has acquired CCTV footage from the cameras positioned on the bridge. From the footage, we see that it appears that the train's front part was lifted slightly due to strong winds during the incident, and that led to a train socket to get partly off from one of the pocket wagons. On the other hand, the Danish authorities have a different perspective. According to the Danish Transport, Construction and Housing Authority, it has so far been proven that the semi-trailer was outside the profile of the freight train. The semi-trailer had shifted position and it protruded beyond the side of the freight wagon. However, it is critical to note down that similar reports have only been made in Denmark, and specifically on the Great Belt Bridge. For instance, in the rest of Europe, there are no reports concerning safety of semi-trailer freight transport. In particular, semi-trailer freight transport is considered to be quite safe, especially in relation to road transportation. In the last 13 years, there have only been 2 accidents reported, and specifically in Denmark, Denmark is considered to be one of the most safe countries in terms of rail transport. It has an exemplary safety record, and the last accident before 2019 took place in 1988. Consequently, there is a critical question arising. Are the safety measures enough for transportation on the Great Belt Bridge? Should maybe the authorities take into consideration weather conditions and how critical they can prove in terms of causing accidents? So far, we already know that in the 2018 accident, weather conditions also played a critical role. However, the only measure trying to secure safety in terms of winds is the speed limit for the trains. Maybe there should be a better operational management on this aspect, and maybe if legislation and rules get reconsidered, this should be the main focal point instead of banning semi-trailers from the bridge and causing huge financial problems in the whole market.
Thank you very much, Nikos, for that report. Until now, the border crossing between Hungary and Ukraine was not the most chosen route for traffic on the new Silk Road. But this is about to change, as the largest European terminal will be located here. It is called the East-West Gate, and construction has already started. In 2021, the first train should pass through the modern facility. It's not just a location that catches the attention of the RailFreight industry. The terminal will have narrow and normal gauge tracks, facilitate 740-meter trains, apply the latest digital innovations, and handle dangerous goods. On the line with us is Janos Talosi, CEO of East Westgate, and next to him is Elvira. She'll be translating. Thank you very much for joining us. Now, Mr. Talosi, how important is this terminal for Hungary?
Lehetővé teszi azt, hogy Magyarország újra a logisztika térképére felkerüljön.
It enables Hungary to get back on the map of logistics again.
20 évvel ezelőtt Magyarország meghatározó szereplője volt ennek a piacnak.
20 years ago, Hungary was a significant player in this market.
A szokásos dolog történt, a technikai berendezések elavultak.
As usually, the equipment became outdated.
Nem voltak felújítások.
There were no renovations made.
A forgalom teljesen leépült.
The turnover decreased significantly.
Ez az új terminál újra lehetővé teszi, hogy jelentős forgalom jöjjön Magyarország felé.
This terminal makes it possible that significant traffic comes back to Hungary again.
Nagyon széleskörű szolgáltatási
We will have a wide range of services.
És ezzel a terminál a legmodernebb terminál lesz Európában.
And with this, the terminal will be the most modern terminal in Europe.
Yeah. And is it the new Silk Road that you have in mind when you say when you're talking about traffic coming back to Hungary, or is it broader than that?
Sorry, come again, please.
Is it traffic between China and Europe that you have in mind when you talk about traffic coming back?
Megnövekedett forgalomról beszélünk, akkor Kína és Európa közötti forgalomról beszélünk, vagy szélesebb értelemben beszélünk?
Ezt a forgalmat szélesebb értelemben kezeljük.
We mean it in broader meaning.
Mário is ismeri, hogy vannak próbaszállítások Japánból Európába.
You know that there are test transportations from Japan to Europe.
Kazahsztánból gáz és vegyipari termékek.
Chemicals and gas from Kazakhstan.
És jelentős igényt tapasztaltunk európai termékeknek az exportja iránt.
And we see a significant demand for export of European products.
Yes.
A jelenleg meglévő terminálok Mala és Brest.
The terminals that currently exist is Malashevich and Brest.
Nagyon jelentős forgalmat bonyolítanak le Kínából, Ázsiából, Európa fele.
They process significant amount of goods from Europe to Asia and from Asia to Europe.
És nem rendelkeznek olyan plusz kapacitással, ami Európából az exportot is lehetővé tenni.
But they don't have the extra capacity to enable further transportation of goods from Europe to Asia.
És a másik nagyon fontos a környezetvédelem.
And the second important issue is environment.
A terminál univerzális, képes hagyományos félpótkocsikat is felrakni vasútra.
The terminal will be universal. It will be able to reload semi-trailers, traditional semi-trailers on rail as well.
Yes.
Maga a terminál is egy zöld szemléletben készült.
The terminal is based on green technologies.
Dízel-hibrid termék lesz a legkörnyezetszennyezőbb.
Diesel hybrid vehicles will be the least environmentally green products here.
Elektromos termináltraktorok.
We will have electric terminal tractors.
Elektromos daruk.
Electric cranes.
És elektromos közlekedési eszközök a terminálon belül.
And electric vehicles within the terminal.
Yes, and I saw on the website that there is a Nicolas technology. Is that correct? Is that the technology you'll be using for non-crailable trainers?
Úgy látta a honlapon, hogy Nicolas technológiát a nem darázható személyigényekre.
Igen, a Nicolas-ával tárgyalunk, de van más olyan technológia is, ami a hagyományos pótkocsik vasútra rakását lehetővé teszi.
Which enable reloading of non-craneable semi-trailers to rail.
Ukrajnában jelentős igényt tapasztalunk.
There is a significant demand for this service in Ukraine.
És ott csak hagyományos pótkocsik vannak.
Because they only have non-craneable semi-trailers there.
Okay. But you haven't decided yet. What are you basing your decisions on? Because there's quite a lot of techniques available. What are you looking for?
Tehát mi alapján döntünk el, mi alapján hozzuk meg a döntést a technológiák közül, hogy olyan sok technológia van, hogyan mi alapján döntünk.
Az üzemeltetés praktikuma alapján, hatékonyság alapján.
Based on efficiency of operations.
Látszik, hogy nálunk nincs kialakított külön terület erre a tevékenységre, tehát a félpótkocsik felrakásán nincs külön kialakított terület. Igen.
We don't have a special area designated for this kind of reloading.
Mert bármelyik darunk alkalmas rá.
Because any of the cranes that we will have will be able to reload non-craneable semi-trailers.
Terminálon belül nagy létszámú parkolási lehetőség van.
There will be plenty of parking lots within the terminal.
És nagy számú termináltraktorral fogunk rendelkezni, hogy a félpótkocsikat feltegyük a vonatra.
And we will have enough terminal tractors to enable reloading of non-craneable semi-trailers to rail.
Kétféle megoldás lehetséges.
There is two kinds of solutions.
Vagy csak félpótkocsik vannak a vonaton.
Either there are only semi-trailers on the train.
Vagy a kamionokat is, a nyerges vontatókat is feltesszük.
Or including together with a truck.
Now you spoke of a theoretical capacity of 1 million TEUs per year. What needs to happen for this theoretical capacity to become actual capacity?
Beszéltünk az 1 millió TEU-s elméleti kapacitásról, mi kell ahhoz, hogy elméletileg megvalósuljon.
A jelenleg meglévő vasúti infrastruktúra
the current infrastructure of railways
300-500 TEU egység továbbítását teszi lehetővé.
Enables processing of 300-500,000 TEUs.
A magyar kormány jelentős fejlesztéseket fog végrehajtani.
The Hungarian government is going to make significant developments in the infrastructure.
Készülnek a vasúti M0-nak vagy vasúti nulla vasútvonalnak a tervei.
Tehát ugyan
Budapestet elkerülő vasútvonalnak
including building a railway around Budapest.
Ami önmagában már akkora fejlesztés, hogy a teljes kapacitást ki lehet használni.
Which in itself is such a significant development that we can reach the full capacity.
Egyébként is kell egy idő, amíg a terminál személyzet kellő tapasztalatra tesz szert.
Anyway, we need time for the staff of the terminal to gain experience.
Ennek lesz egy felfutása, tehát egy időtartam, amíg ez megtörténik.
We will need time to increase the turnover.
És azért az a 300 is egy nagyon jelentős 300 000 TEU és egy nagyon jelentős szám.
And 300,000 TEUs is also quite a high number.
Yeah. Okay, well, I wish you all the best in these efforts. I think we will talk again. And thank you very much for joining us.
Thank you for having us.
Thank you.
Bye-bye. We're now moving on to the west for another big terminal in the making. In Calais, the French coastal city at the end of the Channel Tunnel to the UK, a terminal is being erected by CargoBeamer. It is the first that will operate completely on its specific loading technology, and if it's up to the German firm, it's not the last. And on the line with us is Nicolas Albrecht, the Chief Business Development Officer at CargoBeamer. Thank you very much for joining us.
Thank you for having me.
Can you explain a little bit more about this CargoBeamer technology? What exactly does it mean?
Yeah, CargoBeamer, so what we as CargoBeamer do, we are a logistics service and technology provider. And we actually, on the one side, we're a train operator, but on the other side, what we have developed is our own set of railcar technology and terminal technology that, if working in conjunction or working together, basically allows any form of currently, non-train using, non-craneable semi-trailers of all sorts, pretty much everything you can imagine. We want to allow all these semi-trailers to be able to take rail or to translate from road to rail in the future. And what the CargoBeamer technology, which is the rail cars and the terminal together, allows you is to have a completely automated, highly efficient, completely digital way to actually translate all these semi-trailers onto rail in a completely horizontal, automated fashion.
Yeah, but you're saying the rail car and the terminal. Does that mean that you need a terminal in order to carry this out?
We don't. The way we have designed our rail cars, and having used the experience that we have collected over time, is that we can actually use our rail cars with any third-party conventional crane or reach stacker terminal. And that's what we're currently doing actually since roughly 3 to 4 years. So we're running daily trains between the Dutch-German border, close to Venlo, and northern Italy, where we actually use third-party terminals. So we have a way of taking out non-craneable units using a pallet technology within the wagons or the rail cars, and that's a vertical process. So you could pretty much address any terminal within Europe from one day to the other. If you, however, combine it with a terminal technology like the one we're now building in Calais, which is going to be the first of, you said it before, hopefully many terminals for us, then you have these advantages. You have a fully automated process, a loading and unloading time of 15 minutes in total. So a complete step change in the translation from road to rail.
Yeah, and you're also going to apply this technology in Calais on the German-Dutch border and in Domodossola, if I'm saying it right, in northern Italy. You already operate the service between these two cities. How will this service improve thanks to these terminals?
Yeah, like you said, we're planning to, Calais will be finished shortly. We are planning to then build further terminals in Calais and Domodossola. The difference it makes is, you go from currently something between 2 and 3 hours loading and unloading process time to 15 to 20 minutes. So you obviously drastically or massively increase your turnover time within a terminal. What that basically allows, if you have connections at both endpoints, or even just at one, is to increase the frequency, even double the frequency of the trains that you can run between these endpoints. Now, what that does for the customer, which is the freight forwarder or the hauling company, is that it provides you the possibility to use to have different offerings, right? You have greater flexibility in your offering. You might have a train that currently only leaves in the morning, that in the future will leave in the morning and in the afternoon, and you can even increase that because a terminal can have up to 4 times the frequency or capacity as any regular conventional terminal. And the idea, I mean, we always think that we compete with the road. Road is flexible, and road you can leave anytime, and you can adapt to your requirements as a forwarding company. If we get as close to possible as that, similar to passenger train offerings, if we have multiple departures a day, then we are significantly more attractive. We will get a significantly greater share of this massive market that is non-trainable units on the road, and I think we can help sufficiently or help a lot in getting this long talked about transformation in process of putting more onto rail.
Yeah. Now we just heard about another technology, Nicolas, and this was an example of a terminal which is considering multiple options. There are quite a lot of players out there. What makes you stand out?
Nicolas is something, Nicolas is a way to put non-trainable units onto regular wagons or rail cars, any twin pocket wagons, for example. It's a good first start. It's basically what we're currently doing between Calais and Domodossola as well. It has a vertical process that at least allows you to address this bigger market. As I said before, we're competing with road. And if you have a terminal procedure that takes 2 to 3 or even more hours, and you can run 4 trains into one terminal any day, you won't get very far in really addressing this massive market and actually getting towards putting 5 or even 10% of current road traffic onto rail. You have to have a much greater frequency, a much greater turnover time, faster turnover time in the terminals. And for that, you need terminal infrastructure as well. And you have to look at an automated, digitalized process, a parallel process, not one that is sequential, but one that works at the same time. And in CargoBeamer, we shift an entire train off and shift an entire set of cargo onto the train at the same time. And that is just a very different approach. Yeah. I think that is thinking it all a step further,
Yeah. And why Calais? Why have you chosen Calais?
For a number of reasons. I mean, just look at the press the last couple of days just before Christmas when UK borders were closed or transports were closed. Currently with Brexit, I mean, there's massive cargo volumes going through, both using the short sea connections between UK and Europe, but also using the Eurotunnel. It's all kinds of industries that transport goods back and forth. Calais is a highly interesting spot. Brexit allows or creates a whole number of opportunities for unaccompanied services or unaccompanied freight transport between these two places. So it's highly attractive. And then the next point is, in developing, constructing a terminal, you always have to have support from the local government, from the regional government, from the players on the ground. And we just found a very strong partner in the Région up in northern France, but also the city of Calais that helped us develop this terminal much quicker than we are able to develop terminals in other places.
Yeah. What are your long-term ambitions?
Well, like I said, I think our long-term ambitions is, we want to rethink the way logistics is currently done in a way. And our vision is to have a sustainable impact and actually provide the technology and the standard to help shift road traffic onto rail. And not just a couple of thousand trailers, but 5 or even 10% or even more. So the ambition is to keep developing and building terminals. We want to have a network of, now we have 3 in plan that we're going to implement, but it will be more. It will be 2, 3, 4 times that amount every year, hopefully, and then going up to more than 30 terminals at one point. When that will be, it's a little hard to say. And at the same time, we of course want to expand our network of relations, of connections, add to our rolling stock. This year we're quadrupling. Hopefully after that we'll continue. So the idea is to provide a network for road transport to be shifted onto rail sustainably in the medium term.
Yeah. Okay, well, I'd like to thank you very much for joining us today and wish you all the best.
Thank you so much.
And then we've reached the end of this week's show. Don't forget to subscribe to our YouTube channel so you can follow us and you'll be notified when we post a new video. For now, thanks for watching and see you next week. Goodbye.
En ook u kunt hier zitten, want deze coronaproof studio is te huur voor uw congres, vergadering of webinar. We hebben alle techniek in huis om u hierbij te helpen. Kijk voor meer informatie op promedia.nl. Ik zie u graag in onze studio.